Hello and welcome, students. I am here with another session on legal current affairs. We are back today and we'll be dealing with a lot of good topics that we are here for. And Fatafat se give me a check whether I am perfectly visible and perfectly audible to you all. Okay, starting ahead and going ahead with the first topic that we are here with, that is Kerala's proposal to amend the Wildlife Protection Act. Why this is there in the news as such? There were certain animals, wildlife species, basically coming and entering into the habitat of the human species. And that was the biggest reason that we came up with the proposal of amending the Wildlife Act. And why this was done? Because when you see, certainly there is a green area everywhere, and we call it green zone. Why we call it as a green zone? Because that is basically for the animals to sustain, right? So yes, there has been a lot of wildlife conflicts between the humans and the species living around, and there are multiple attacks that have been done. So whenever you talk about Kerala specifically, the numbers, when you talk about, there are certainly 8,000 numbers, which numbers of attacks that have been done alone in the 2022 to 2023. So imagine how rigorous this, how important this topic is for us to discuss. Also, there were certainly a lot of attacks by elephants and wild boar as a species, and there were certainly 100 plus deaths that have been reported because of it. And majorly the crops that used to be there with respect to the you know people around were actually good evening, good evening. Actually, they were destroyed, and the livestock is also destroyed. So yes, certainly there is a lot of conflict with respect to that, and there are certain laws already made with respect to this, the Wildlife Protection Act. That's why there was a need to actually change the law. And when you talk about changing the law, there are certain proposed amendments that have been done. So yes. Yeah, we are talking about the Kerala government passing and amending the Wildlife Protection Act. Why they are doing it? Because there are multiple attacks that have been done. Certain lot 8,000 attacks that have been done with respect to 2022 and 2023 itself, and majorly these attacks have been done by the elephants and the wild boars. And yes, the act certainly was there since 1972, and that needs certain kind of amendments. And why they need certain kind of amendments, what are the key amendments that have been provided are that the hunting power authority basically given to the people, given to certain authorities, and certain authorities are not that much available. There are certain authorities which are available. So yes, there was a current law which states that certainly there is a post known as CWLW, so Chief Wildlife Warden. Only that post can actually permit the killing of the Schedule One animals. Schedule One animals थोड़े से rigorous, थोड़े से threatful होते हैं. तो यह जब आप शेड्यूल 1 देखोगे उसका, तो एनिमल्स, जो भी एनिमल्स उसमें स्टेटेड हैं, तो उनके थ्रू अगर कोई थ्रेट आ रहा है, किसी को भी आ रहा है विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू एनी ह्यूमन, तो ओनली चीफ फाइल ऑफ वार्डन, wildlife warden can attack, can issue an attack permit to kill the animal. Whereas what the Kerala is demanding as of now is that CCF, then there is another post known as Chief Conservator of Forest. This should be the person to make such calls. Why? Because the person is actually living in the local area itself, and it would be faster for them to kill the animal which has attacked that arena. Okay. ऑल्सो दे हैव आस्क्ड कि देर कुछ स्पीशीज हैं जिनको वो वर्मिन बनाना चाहते हैं, डिक्लेयर स्पीशीज एज वर्मिन. सो टोटल स्पीशीज जितनी भी थी वाइल्ड बोर की, पॉसिबली बॉनेट मैक्वास, सो यस, वाइल्ड बोर की जो स्पीशीज हैं उनको दे हैव स्टेटेड कि इनको वर्मिन बनाना चाहेंगे. प्लस अकॉर्डिंग टू Section 62, which allows the center to declare a Schedule 2 species as vermin in this specific area for the defined period. So, yes, there are certain laws which actually give the power to the center as well. Kerala then argued that yes, the license shooter scheme failed due to procedural delays, so vermin status would simplify management. Yes, so Kerala also argued that there are certain license shooter that which were proposed earlier with respect to the government itself. That scheme also failed. So yes, why failed? Because जो species थी जो वर्मिन होनी चाहिए तो वर्मिन थी ही नहीं, तो उनको हम कैसे we could kill them. So that was also put down. So what were the objectives जो जिसकी वजह से we came up with certainly some of the you know yes, so what is the Wildlife Protection Act when we talk about it? So certainly certain act which aim to protect the wildlife, birds, plants, provide the creation of the protected areas like national parks, sanctuaries. उसके अंदर कुछ शेड्यूल्स भी दिए गए हैं, ठीक है, उसके अंदर वेरियस लेवल ऑफ प्रोटेक्शन है. शेड्यूल 1 इज द हाईएस्ट प्रोटेक्शन, एग्जाम्पल एलिफेंट्स. Schedule 3, yes, but then there are certain guidelines which are given according to the Schedule 1 and 2 and 3. So, yes, when the people are, if you're living in a certain area, okay, which is near to the green belt, okay, so there wildlife species live. If by chance they attack, so yes, there is a lot of contradiction going on with respect to that. So there humans also have to live and the animals also have to live. And certainly if certain animal attack, then the shooter actually shoots them with certain kind of injected things so that they can just lose their consciousness at that moment of time, and then they can be brought back to the you know either the wildlife sanctuary or either they can be sent back to the same green belt. So yes, that has been done also, certainly. So there is a lot of debate, student, which is going on, and what we are here for is that faster decision making should be the objective to actually amend is so that they have the faster decision making with the same. Their crop and livelihood should be protected as well, and balancing human safety and conservation. These are the three major things why we should go ahead and actually do it with respect to the Kerala people. But then there is a lot of opposition and criticism with respect to the same. Yes, there are certain environmentalists who came up and said that yes, killing of animals is, especially the wildlife animals, is actually harmful to our habitat and it would degrade our habitat. That is one thing that they have stated. Also, there is the population data. If we come across, the elephants numbers have been dropped as well, while the tigers number also have fell with respect to that arena, and it is actually weakening the population of the animals there. Also, there are certain experts who argue with respect to the habitat restoration. When you see Kerala is a very beautiful state with respect to their, habitat. So yes, that is the degradation of the same, and it's the early warning system, which we can say that this would be dangerous if these amendments would be done. So, right now, what are the legal and federal implications if we talk about that? Yes, there is a center and state dynamic where wildlife is a center subject under India's Constitution Act. Okay, so when you talk about constitution, there are certain lists which are divided among concurrent, state, and union lists. These are certainly some of the list where we put certain topics which are being governed. The topics which will be governed by state, certain topics will be governed by union, and certain topics will be governed by both of them, and then they can choose and decide. So yes. It is it's a subject under Indian's constitution. Wildlife is a wildlife it is, and any amendment will require the central government approval and parliament's not. So yes, we cannot change. They cannot change the whole of the Wildlife Protection Act. It will certainly need somewhere or the other the parliament approval and union's approval as well. So that comes under union list. So if accepted, Kerala's model, state level culling authority, vermin differentiation, local empowerment might influence other conflict prone states as well, where there are certainly the green belts are majorly situated near the habitat of humans, then it would be a difficult situation for us. So why this topic was really important with respect to CLAT? It certainly has certain constitutional value where we know that we divide certain topics with respect to the union, state, and concurrent list. Then yes, it talks about how federalism and state autonomy works. And then we have certainly something related to environment law in this topic, or where we are interpreting the section 11, section 62, and schedule classifications under Wildlife Protection Act. And then we are talking about how Parliament's role is really important in building the acts, and we cannot actually go ahead and just any state cannot come up and just change their laws. They cannot do so. They need certain prior, approval of Parliament. So yes, that is certainly some of the major key points that anybody should know of with respect to any changes that are being done. Okay, so next topic that we are going to cover is Justice Hema's committee report. Okay, so what was this report all about? So when you talk about Justice Hema report, we have to go certainly with the background and formation of the same. हम ये देखेंगे कि ये फॉर्म क्यों हुई थी, ये किस लिए बनी थी, why this committee was made. It was actually established by Kerala government only in July 2017. July 2017 में इसको बनाया गया था. And yeah, so later on it was for okay, government in 2019. I'm so sorry. And then it was basically made because there were certain celebrities who were assaulted and they were abducted. So there was a Malayalam actress who was abducted and assaulted. Oh, and that's why we came up with this committee, because we needed certain guidelines with respect to the film industry as a whole. And then it was chaired by Kerala High Court Judge Justice K. Hema. That is the name, Justice Hema Committee. This was named after her. And then with members T. Shraddha, former actress, and KB Vassala Kumari, retired IS officer. They were also the members of the same. Then the mandate that came along with this was it was like they have to examine sexual harassment and also gender discrimination with respect to the film industry, because whenever we see the good part about the industry, we have certainly the bad part about the industry as well. So these are certainly the cons of the industries as well, that there is a lot of sexual harassment, there is a gender discrimination, there is working conditions, and there pay disparity among the genders, and then there are certainly, you know, commenting as well. So yes, there was certain things that were defined, and there was the release. There is a timeline that was released, and then finally the it was submitted on 31st of December 2019, withheld by government until abhi tak it was withheld, and now on 19th of August 2024 it was released in response to RTI and court orders, though key identifying information was redacted. Also, it fully contains 233 pages. So, certainly, it is a very, very heavy booklet which has been made. And what were the major findings with respect to this report? That yes, there is a widespread sexual harassment which has been done. Also, casting couch. things also have been done. A male dominated power structure have always been seen with respect to these industries, and there were criminal mafia things also have been going on. Women are very unsafe and they are discriminatory. They're into an industry where there is a lot of discrimination, and there are no basic facilities which are given to them. The toilets, the changing rooms, there should be a lot of legal protection as well, which should be given to them, which is not there, right? Then the pay is also very bad. The gender bias pay, men are paid much higher than what women's are paid. Then there are unfair contracts as well. Then a junior artists are also exploited, and then there's unsafe working environment as well, which you can be seen. Also, there were key recommendation with respect to the report that came into picture, that there should be an independent tribunal or the statute that should come, not just internal committee that should be formed to address the grievances. In सबके लिए there should be a tribunal which should be formed. ICCs would just be insufficient, and it would be just a lone body which is going to be there. Then there should certainly some internal complaints mechanism जहाँ पे women can go and complain, which is a corporate culture as well. When you see in the corporate culture, there are internal committee which are made जहाँ पे women are actually able to go and file the complaint. So yes, there should be gender sensitivity training as well that has to be done. Should be strict controls on alcohol, drugs, and equal pay norms should also be guided with the same. Then yes, the sets where the acting or the where the shoots are initiated should be safe, and there should be a secure accommodation. They should be given the proper places to change as well, and the proper sanitation should be done. Less alcohol, less drugs should be done. Okay, background checks should be done. So all these things should be done with respect to the same. Also, there should be a new legislation which should be formed for a dedicated forum only accessible to women in entertainment industry. So implementation of this and how the legal proceedings would takes place. So yes, SIT investigation was opened, and there was 120 FIRs which were filed, and charge sheets were also filed with respect to 26 cases, naming the big actors there. As of late June 2025, Kerala High Court halted actions on 35 of those cases, citing a lack of victim testimony. So, yes, victims were not actually ready to testify as well. So, this is a major issue, and the state government told the court actually to draft the women's safety in entertainment law, which should be ready by October 2025. And yes, public response was majorly yes. Everybody accepted the same, and this is going to be a major throwback with respect to the entertainment industry that we can see and check. Um, And the last topic that we will be dealing with, yes, so legal and social amplification expose the gap between law and enforcement in the workplace safety of women. Invoke the POSH Act 2013, Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplace, advocated for internal committee. ICC's suggested government intervention and a code of conduct for the film industry. The third topic that we are going to deal would be Supreme Court stay on the temple demolition, focusing on Article 25, right to freedom of religion. Basically, it's a news that came from Uttarakhand, and the context, if you really want to know, the state was actually clearing illegal encroachment on public land, including some temples as well there. So several religious groups opposed the move and citing violation of religious freedoms. If they were against it, they didn't like it, and there was a lot of people were really unhappy about the same, and that's how this came into picture. And then uh, it came into picture that yes, temple were made with the legal proper authorization on public land, and they were without proper authorization on public land. And it's basically an encroachment, not something that they have legally acquired for. So the state argues the rule of law applies equally. No religion can override land laws. Petitioner argues the demolitions as being the targeted, and it would really hurt the sentiments of the people, which this all thing comes up with respect to the Article 25 that we have the freedom of practice any religion and profession of any religion. So yes, Supreme Court then said religious structures can't be demolished without following due process. So yes, they can be demolished, but there is a process that we have to follow. So Supreme Court came into that zone, and then coming to Article 25, what does it talk about? Article 25 of the Constitution guarantees the freedom of conscience, right to freely profess, practice, and propagate the religion. Whatever religion you really want to follow, you can follow it. You are free to do so. You can profess it. You can practice it. You can propagate it, but it is subject to public order, morality, health, and other fundamental rights as well. So yes, there are certainly some restrictions poured into the same, and then state can regulate or restrict any religious practice if it goes against public interest or law. So yes, the state has that authority which they can regulate or restrict any religious practice if it goes against public interest of law. That is it from my hand for today's session, and I really hope you really like it. And please comment down in the next topics that you really want. We will be coming up with the same topics again. So I really hope you like the session. Go and follow our Telegram channel for sure, and then Instagram channel as well. Go and follow it. Go and follow if you have not subscribed yet. Go and subscribe the channel now. Okay, bye bye.